So I spent the first months of the year with my family in Argentina, and of course, I went shopping for art supplies. I was looking for notebooks when I saw the school markers display, and I saw these ones. Trabi is a pretty well-known marker brand from Argentina. When I was little, the best part of starting a new school year was to buy a new set of markers, because I obviously needed new ones after using them all up in my drawings. So while I also bought a set of the traditional school markers to try them out again, I also got this Trabi pastel big brush. This set contains 6 made in Argentina brush tip markers with a pastel colorway. The markers themselves are thick and sturdy, which was a nice surprise. Here in the close-up of the violet marker, obviously the best color, we can see all the information in Spanish, English, and Portuguese, as these markers are also exported to other countries. Opening the marker for the first time, we get to see the brush nib. It looks nice, sturdy, full of inks, no problems here. The nib looks like it's felt, so piling will be something in our future for sure, which is standard for any marker of this style out there. The cap can be stuck to the bottom of the marker, so you don't lose it. Here I'm using standard printer paper to test them. I wanted to try them on the most common sheet of paper that anyone would have in their house. I mean, when I was little, I would exclusively draw on printer paper because I didn't know about all the other options out there. The colors look very nice. The ink is very wet, so it's causing the printer paper to curl, but that's better than having dried markers. Now, I'm a Copic person. I thought I would put these up to the test and compare them to the most popular, most sought-after art markers out there. Can they put up a fight with these expensive art supplies? First, I tried looking for dupes in my marker case. Luckily, I generally work with pastels, so I had a few to compare them to. At first, I grabbed Y00, YR01, RV00, BV00, B00, and YG11. They are a nice set of pastels, but the purple and light blue did not match the Trabi colors. So I grabbed a couple more markers and ended up replacing BV00 for V12 and V00 for G00. Next up, I had to test their blendability. I have to say, I've never tried blending water markers before, so I had to figure out the best way to do it. Copic are alcohol-based markers, which makes it super easy to blend, as alcohol will mix a lot easier and quickly. Water-based markers prefer to stay within the realms of their own inks, so we have to do some extra mixing. I tried doing that directly on the paper, the same way I would do with Copic. I tried blending them with a water brush, and even rubbing the markers on my palette as if they were liquid inks. I also tried doing all of this in 3 different types of paper. I used Strathmore Bristol paper, Canson Probe marker paper, and Canson watercolor paper. In my personal opinion, these markers work the best in watercolor paper. I was able to do the best blending on it. Second best is the Bristol paper, and worst was the marker paper. Which makes sense, as marker paper is best used with alcohol-based markers. As I don't like using Copics in watercolor paper, I decided to do my competition illustration in mixed media paper, which is very similar to Bristol. Oh, and don't expect blending to work on printer paper at all. Now that we have our markers ready, let's start drawing. I'll be using a Strathmore Mixed Media vellum surface notebook. I'll begin by sketching out an idea on my regular notebook and swatching the colors for reference. I'm using a Pentel Red Lead Stella mechanical pencil, first with a very light hand, then adding more and more details. I traced the sketch onto a second page of the notebook, so I would have 2 copies of the same drawing ready to be colored. First, I'll be working on the Copic one. I'm laying down YR000 as my base skin tone, and using my pink and shade for purple. I really love the layering you can do with Copics and how easily you can create gradients. Next, I'm coloring her horn, laying down the first colors and envisioning those rainbow crystals you can buy at bazaars. Which made me think how I wanted this illustration to go. Let's say, for example, making a gradient of red, orange and yellow. It will be easy, as they are colors that are next to each other in the color wheel. Not only will it be easy, but it will yield a pleasant result. And I envision this image to be soft and pleasant, so you will notice that while the gradients in her hair might look random, they're actually not. Yellow, orange, pink, purple, yellow, green, blue, violet, orange, yellow, green. All the gradients are following the rules of color mixing, and that's how we get the soft rainbows flowing down her hair. As for the background, I didn't want it to overpower her, so I've left it white and I'll be doing some round flowers around her. I'm also using Copic Multiliner, Sarasa Pen, white Signo Pens for detailing, and some wink of Stella. I like using wispy lines to emphasize the softness of the character. As a final touch, I'm using a Signo Gold pen for the flowers and leaves. Done with the Copic version, now it's Trabi marker time. I'm starting off with the background circles, first because I wanted them to match the other one, and second because I was actually a bit scared of what would happen once I started coloring the hair. There were too many opportunities to mess it up. On a separate piece of paper, just in case, I tested the two ways of doing the hair. With gradients, which I've tested before, and flat shading. I decided to go with the gradients, so that's what I'll be trying to do. For her skin, I'm using the same Copic marker as before, as there was no equivalent, and I wanted to see if alcohol and water would blend at all. And it actually didn't work out too well, so I couldn't do the soft gradients on her skin tone, but that's okay. It's time to fully start using the Trabi markers. To my surprise, they were blending quite nicely for water markers. The thicker paper was a good choice, as water-based markers are very wet and that water needed to be absorbed and not cause the paper to pill up. And the colors are very vibrant. I was really enjoying it, and liking the colors better than the Copics. If you know me, I like my colors at 100% saturation, please. And while the blending was not super smooth, it was very fun to color with them. I ended up using a thicker multiliner as the thin ones I used before would not show up very clearly on the page, possibly due to the paper being wetter than the first one. I worked the rest of the details, white, gold, glitter, and it is complete. Time to compare. On the Copic side, we have better gradients, a softer look, gorgeous rainbows, and a warmer palette. On the Trabi side, we have brighter colors. Really good gradients for water-based markers. So honestly, I think that they were totally up to the challenge. And look, they don't bleed through the paper, which makes them perfect for sketchbooks. Expensive art tools are expensive for several reasons: pigments, light resistance, easiness of use, but to create something beautiful with more accessible tools also has its merits. You just gotta find the best way they work within their limitations. These same Trabi Pastel Big Brush markers are now part of my on-the-go sketchbook set. Would you like to get a set of your own? Do you have any art tools that are nostalgic to you? Let me know in the comments below. I want to thank my Patreon subscribers who helped me create art and comics with their generosity. You can also join my Patreon to unlock extra content. I'll be sharing the full-length video of the process of these 2 illustrations to my comics and tutorials tier. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon.